I'm Max, and welcome to Pour the Mold. I've been meaning to launch this channel now for quite a while as my home for all things crafting related to the Flesh and Blood trading card game. A lot of you have reached out and asked me about how things like that behind me get made, and even wanting to see some tutorials around cosplay, especially as it pertains to Flesh and Blood cosplay. So this channel really is intended to be the home for things like tutorials, progress reports, maybe vlogs around making my different cosplays, but I'd also like to include things like some community news, event recaps, and maybe even some tinfoil hat lore theories. Now, if you're thinking things are looking a bit too clean in this workshop, you'd be right. I am definitely not this organized. The reason it's so clean is I'm in the process of resetting right now to start for my next cosplay for Worlds in Osaka. But before we get to that, I wanted to do a quick recap of my Flesh and Blood experience at Tampa Bay for the world premiere of Rosetta that happened last week. The Rosetta world premiere was kicked off on Friday, and it was done in a way we've never really experienced before, I think, as a community. So LSS took a different route this spoiler season and kept most of the higher rarity, higher power cards like Majestics and Legendaries and the Fabled, and kept them a secret until the day of the world premiere. So what this means is that we were all really getting to experience these cards together for the first time in the Flesh and Blood at Tampa Bay. And so the first time that we got these packs in our hand and we started ripping them open, the whole center just filled with these like screams and shouts. I can't even explain to you guys how loud it got during those first several pack rips as we were all starting to see these Majestics for the first time, these Legendaries, the Fabled, even some chase cards that we didn't really expect, and of course those gorgeous Marvels that were in there, whether that be the Heroes or there are some like things like Sigils out there that are really, really stunning. I'm sure you've seen them by now. But really, once again, LSS has outdone themselves between the art, the cold foiling, and the beauty of this set. I ended up building, aka forcing Ocilio during this event. And just to preface, like, I've never played a wizard hero before. In fact, I've never even played any hero that deals arcane damage, whether that be in CC or limited. So, of course, I got pulled up during round 2 with my opponent to play on stream. And that was really intimidating because, one, I don't know the set, I don't know the cards, but also I've never played this hero type before. And of course, how many people are probably watching this stream too right now? But my opponent on Hell was on Aurora, and I think even though we were still feeling out our heroes and our decks and these cards and making mistakes on both sides of the table, I still got the sense, at least for me, and I think for him as well, that we had a really great time. And I think that's part of the success story as it pertains to LSS's approach to spoiler season for this set and for the world premiere. Because we're all experiencing most of these power cards at the same time and the interactions for them together, there's less of a chance that you're going to get paired into somebody that has figured out these heroes, that has done 100 Talishar reps on them, and that you're just going to get destroyed and blown out, across all of this event. I think that made for a much more engaging experience and inviting experience for everybody, but especially new players, because there's not much worse than coming to a casual event like this, especially as a newer player, sitting down and getting completely run over round after round. You're probably not going to be inclined to come back for seconds if your experience as a first-time player is like that. So kudos to LSS for this change during spoiler season and for how this event was ran. So the rest of Friday, I hit a lot of side events. I racked up tickets, got the tokens that I needed to complete my collection, the cold foil tokens off the prize wall, which was a lot of fun. But then the next day was Saturday, which was the calling. Now, I personally didn't play in the calling. I'm a side event queen. And the reason for that is I love playing formats that I don't get to play a lot locally or maybe just aren't as popular. So like Blitz and Commoner and Sealed. It also gave me an opportunity to get to really dive into the set more and play a lot more sealed rounds with it and try out the various heroes across the weekend. But honestly, the highlight for me on Saturday was getting to debut a new costume that I've been wanting to do for a long time. It's sat in my little book of cosplay ideas right here. If you ever want to know the secrets of cosplay, this has like dozens of costumes I want to do going forward. Hopefully you'll get to see them through this channel. But I had this cosplay that had been in there for a long time, and I kept putting it off, and I just kept pushing it and pushing it. And when this set was announced, I thought, oh my God, this is the perfect time to pull out this costume. It's so thematically good with this set. But what really took it over the top was the fact that they ended up reprinting the card in this set, which makes a lot of sense thematically. They also then decided to do an alt art promo for this event. And I think you guys probably know what art I'm talking about by now, but if you don't, it's Feindel's Fighting Spirit, the original, as well as the promo art, new art, gorgeous, gorgeous foiling that we got for this event. But really, I think what just took it to the next level too was that one of my very good friends in cosplay, Carolina Alvarado, decided to make it into a pairs cosplay. So I got to go as the original Feindel's Fighting Spirit, and she went as the alt art promo. And we had a ton of fun doing a photo shoot, walking around all day, interacting with people. And for myself, I was getting to play at the table. So apologies to any opponents that I walked up and they were like, why the heck is there a feral wolf warrior lady standing here clutching a dash deck? I hope I didn't freak you out too much, but I had an awesome time. Like to think people had a lot of fun posing with that, and we were really hamming it up with the weapons and everything. So ton of fun. And honestly, Carolina and I had so much fun coordinating on that costume that I have a feeling you guys are going to see another pairs costume from us pretty soon. Maybe at Worlds. We'll see. But one other big thing happened to me on Saturday, and that was getting a message that morning from Zach at tcgplayer.com. And Zach wanted to know if I would be interested in doing a sponsored box break of the new set Rosetta. And my reaction was basically, does a Guardian love to pummel? Hell yes, I do. So thank you to tcgplayer.com for sponsoring this box break, for gifting me this box of Rosetta. I'm really excited to open it. But I think to get our pack luck up, we're going to need to channel some fighting spirit. What do you guys think? Let the hunt begin. So we've got our box all ready to go here, just taking a look at this gorgeous key art across the front of it. Once again, kudos to LSS and the whole art team on this set. Just even the box art, the art on the packs is just absolutely spectacular and stunning. Shout out to like Robbie, Sam, MJ, and Carlos on this gorgeous, and I'm sure tons of others within those teams. And just to mention here, we've got the paper packs out of this box. They're, again, not only beautiful to look at, but so much easier to open, especially for somebody like me with nails right now. But the one thing you watch out for is there's actually some like glitter that comes off of these packs. So it's kind of like a bit of pixie dust as we're opening here. That you might start to see get all over my mat, which I kind of like it. It adds a little bit of sparkle and effect. And just to mention, this mat is the beautiful Sanctuary of Arya key art that's going on here. We got these at the actual event at Tampa Bay. Just gorgeous, gorgeous mat and art. And once again, just out of this world visuals from this particular set, which I think just keeps getting better with every single set we look at. Now I'm going to be going over a couple of the pack basics here for those of you that maybe have never cracked a fab pack before. Most of you probably have. But the way a pack is laid out is we have things like our token art here in the back. So the token cards are usually going to be 2 slots for this here, but it might not just be tokens. So in this case, we can see we have a hero token. We also have some effect tokens here as well, an embodiment of earth and a rune chant that we can use throughout the game. But these get set aside because there can also be things in here like legendaries. We could have marvels in the back here, cold foils. So be cautious when opening these packs and setting aside those first 2. You might have something really spicy back here. Now, I'm going to be a tease, and if we have a backwards card, I'm going to keep it in the back as we go through so that we can see it at the end of each pack. You got to wait for the good things. But as we go through, I've seen a lot of these cards throughout the past 2 weekends, but hopefully we'll get to see some really new stuff and new things for my collection because I'm trying to put out a couple different decks here in CC. So the way these packs are laid out is we're going to have different types of hero abilities and talents. So you can see we have Earth and then Lightning and then a generic card here. Now, Arcane Polarity is a great card in both draft and any limited format. It's allowing you to get that really key life gain, especially as that Arcane, because we don't have the barrier in this set. So you got to watch out for that. And any sort of life gain is really going to be your way around a lot of that arcane damage that you can't just brush off like you might have been able to with AB equipment in previous sets. Now, one thing to mention here about this equipment in the set is there's a lot of conditionals on the equipment when you're playing limited. So in this case, Helm has a conditional on it that if you have 4 Earth cards in your banish zone, so if you're one of the Earth heroes that likes to banish cards, it's going to give you extra defense against regular damage, or vanilla damage, I guess we'll call it physical damage. And here we have one of our beautiful examples of these rainbow foil cards. Shout out to the team at LSS who does the foiling. I believe I got to meet one of them, Kat, when I was over in New Zealand visiting them earlier this year. But those lightning cards, man, the foil is just gorgeous on on all the cards, but I don't know. It just seems to pop extra on Lightning. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's because I'm Team Lightning, but really loving it. Now, getting into pack 2 here, it looks like we're still getting tokens in the back, which doesn't mean anything. In fact, my spiciest pulls have honestly usually been the last packs in a box, so we'll see if this holds true with this particular set. But here we see Auxilia. We're getting another Auxilia here, and it's a really, really exciting hero that I'm excited to build. Oh, hey, look, right off the bat, my art, my namesake of what I'm wearing right now. Harvest Season, love that card, love that life gain. Now, Sigil, I want to stop here and talk about sigils for a second. So during that game I played on stream, I actually made a mistake with the sigil, and it's something to watch out for because these sigils have conditionals that when the sigil leaves the arena, you're going to get that effect. Now, my opponent bounced it back to my hand, and in my mind, I don't know why I thought destroy or go to graveyard or get banished, you get it. In this case, I would have had an embodiment of lightning that I should have had out on the field. So if somebody's bouncing this back to your hand as well, or sending it under your deck, whatever the effect might be, you are getting that benefit of these cards leaving the arena. So just something to watch out for as you're playing, as you're getting used to these cards. The sigils can be really powerful for getting those effects like that embodiment of lightning or that embodiment of earth out in the field. So going through, another repeat here. So Oath of the Arknight is actually a repeat from another set. Really good key card. I believe this is a red. So giving you that +3 on the damage, creating a rune chant token. Go again. Love this card. It's a little bit harder to get out in limited, but it's something I still pack into my Florian deck as I'm going through and playing limited. So I want to talk about Smash Up here because this is a card that I used a lot of over the past 2 weekends. So Smash Up is a 1-for-5. And when it hits the hero, you turn a card over in their arsenal and then banish it if it's an attack action card. So a little bit of a great value command and conquer. And finally, Etchings of Arcana. Foiling, gorgeous. Once again, wizard card foiling right up there with lightning foiling. And shout out to Kiki and Elaine who put out this spoiler. Elaine did a cosplay for Kiki's spoiler. Great job, you guys. Beautiful card, beautiful cosplay, beautiful spoiler. Let's keep these cards sorted out here. Make sure we can see kind of how each pack is laying out. We've got our foils, our rares, our commons. Hopefully we'll have some majestics or even higher to add to them soon. I have faith. So back here, we're looking at our token slot again, and we do have one token, but we also have a backwards card. Now, this could be an expansion slot card, or it could be the dreaded cracked bauble. It could be the blue bauble, as I'm calling it. Let's keep this upside down and see what we got first. So going through more of those sigils that we talked about. Oh, and Trip the Light, fantastic. So really versatile card. So Trip the Light, you can discard this to prevent 2 damage, but you can also use as an attack. Like in the red, I think it's a 1-for-5. So great thing to have in your deck, gives you some flexibility when you absolutely need it. More great Runeblade cards, Hit the High Notes, Arcanic Spike. Now this one, Flash of Brilliance. Now, I'm not talking about this as a card, but like as a cosplay, what do you guys think? I mean, I have a white wig and I've been wanting to do more girly things. Ooh, Glyph Overlay, another favorite from this weekend, and Sigil Conductivity, because I have been really on the wizard train with set. Ah, there it is. Splatter Skull. So Splatter Skull is one of these expansion slot cards that's for a class that's not in this particular set. So in this case, it's for Brute. Now what Splatter Skull does is when this hits a hero, you're going to take one of those cards that was intimidated out of their hand during your intimidate portion of the turn, and you're going to put it in the graveyard. So essentially functioning kind of like a pummel, except they're not really getting to choose the card. It sounds like the Brute player is getting to choose the card, which as a non-Brute player sounds really unfair to me. If we weren't enemies before, I think we're going to be a little more so now, but if you're a Brute player, you're probably loving this new card. So, and shout out to Savage Lands News. I believe this was their spoiler for the season, so I'm sure they're really thrilled. All those Brute bros, they love intimidating, and now they get to take it even a step further. So I'm going to be watching out for this one and a little bit afraid. So back to the packs, we're going to set that aside. We're going to keep it in its own spot from the other Majestics that you can play in Limited or from the set, truly. So we'll keep these expansions separate to see how many expansions we're getting versus, let's say, regular Majestic. Now, expansion slots, I think, is 1 in 15 in general for pack counts. So we'll see kind of what we come out as with 24 packs in the box. Okay, 2 tokens here, but one thing to mention, Sanctuary of Arya, matching the mat here. It's important to make sure you have this out at the beginning of your game. It's a macro. It comes out right away. So if you don't see it on your opponent's side, be kind, remind them, because it's really your right off the bat source of kind of pseudo AB or damage prevention for this set, which is going to be really key in those limited formats when you might not have a lot of prevention or even life gain. So you got to be really cautious depending on what hero you're playing and make sure you have this out on the field. But just beautiful, beautiful art. I love this playmat. Just stunning. I love the whole Aurora Borealis kind of look here. But yeah, make sure that those macros are out on the field and that you're not forgetting them because they're your freebie at the beginning of the game. So right off the bat, 2 tokens means we don't have an expansion slot card, but there should still be a Majestic in here. Blossoming Decay. So let's talk about this. Decompose. This is a new mechanic for this set, and essentially you're banishing cards out of your graveyard to Earth, 1 action. And the point of doing that is to get the extra effect, in this case, gaining a life. But if you're Verdance or you're Florian, you're trying to get those cards, 4 of those Earth cards, into your banish zone to turn on your hero ability. In Florian's case, being able to make a rune chant or make an extra of an aura when you're making one. And in Verdance's case, being able to send back that arcane damage when you're gaining life. So really critical to have enough of these Decompose in addition to Earth cards in your limited deck or in your CC deck if you're building these heroes. But really cool new mechanic that really feeds into the whole theme of this set of growth, of rebirth, and of death. I am just, oh my God, you guys know, or at least you know, if you know me, that I'm a lore nerd. And so I'm very much into flavor in these cards and really, really love what they've done with this new mechanic keyword in this set with things like Blossoming Decay or others that we'll see as we go through. Looking at more of our staple cards, Trailblazing Aether, a great wizard card, gives it go again if you surge. Surge is a keyword that if you're doing that damage, that's more than the base arcane damage of the card. In this case, if it's 3, you'd have to do like 4 or more. If they let that go through, you're going to get that surge effect, and this is going to get go again, which on like a 0 for 4 or more arcane is really valuable in this case. But another one of those, how many zaps can we fit in this bad boy? A lot. The answer is a lot, especially if you're playing Ocilio. You're just going to want to get a lot of these low-cost wizard actions out there. So continuing, we can see more search cards here. We've got some Rune Blade. Some of these cards we've seen before. Twinkle Toes goes back to those conditional type equipment when you have to do something to activate it. And in Twinkle Toes' case, you have to play an instant to be able to prevent that damage. Oh, and again, this foiling, like I talk about, the Wizard and the Lightning, I think they got the best foiling in the set. It's all gorgeous, no doubt, but Perennial is just a stunning card. I'm not saying it's the best card in the world, but that foiling, I just want that as like art on my wall, you guys. I could be happy. So more of these packs, more of this glitter getting on my hands. You guys can't see it, but I can. I'm starting to look like I'm going to a party afterwards instead of an armory, but here we are. So I'm seeing, again, more of this glitter just all over my mat, but it really is pretty. I mean, some people pay for that makeup. Come on, guys. More tokens. Not seeing an expansion card here. It doesn't mean there's not spice in this pack still, though. And here, Fertile Ground, a card that I played a lot of as Florian and as Verdance, of course, with the life gain. So in this case, if you have your hero power turned on, you have those 4 cards in your banish zone, you're not going to gain 2 life. You're going to gain 5 life, which is insane. It's going to keep your ability to push back that arcane damage, to not worry as much about it, but also to, if you're Verdance, sending back a damage at your opponent when you're doing this, which is just like insult to injury. More of these decomposed cards, a Cadaverous Tilling here. I want to see the red of that, though. So we're getting, like 3 for 8 would be great. All these big explosive cards in this set really keep your opponent on their back foot while you're trying to get whatever you need done. In this case, if you're Florian or Verdance, getting those cards into your banish zone. Tongue-Tied. So let's talk about this one. So 3 for 7. Tongue-Tied is just another 3 for 7 that I love, but the ability on this, I don't know if it's as easy to get it to work in limited. And what it is if it hits them and there's an instant in their arsenal, you flip it up, you would banish it. Now, with that instant, they could just play it. And I guess it could be good because you can push back something that they want to do on their next turn. Maybe they were planning to play that instant to make something else occur, and they needed to play it on their turn in a specific order for a combo. In that case, you might be pushing them back with this card, but and essentially still a great card. Just treat it as a 3 for 7. And if the effect does something beneficial for you, that's great. But, don't count on it necessarily, since I know in response, would typically just play the instant out of my arsenal and say, yeah, so what? You hit me. Okay, 2 more tokens here. Now, I'm feeling like this is just increasing my odds as we get down this box that I'm going to get something better. But going through Autumn's Touch, even in the yellow, great card, another reprint, 3 for 6. Still, anytime you're delivering big damage, especially in limited, It's going to be important, but also this is an earth card, so it's going to be food for decomposure out of your graveyard. And Flittering Charge, another one of those fast action lightning cards. So if you've played an instant this turn, it gets go against. There's some really great interactions you can get with some of these auras if they're instant or gaining life or different things that you can do to get this to go again. And then whatever you want, whether you're Aurora, whether you're Cilio, maybe you have an attack coming in, maybe you're going low and wide, or maybe you have some Arcana energy you're going to be throwing next. So mixed damage, we love that. Meet and Greet, it's a good card. It's okay card. It's something that I will pull in. It is a repeat card from another set. Love the art. Kind of reminds me of myself in the kitchen. But, you can't always bet on this being able to go off. It is a conditional type go again. But hitting gets a rune chance, so it is a good card overall, but not one of the best that I would put in every single deck necessarily, at least in limited. Going through, we've seen a couple of these before. Oh man, here is a great one. So Rune Blades are eating good in this set, and Succumb to Temptation is no exception. This is an insane powerhouse card for this set. So Succumb to Temptation can be played as an instant or as though it were an instant if you've dealt arcane damage this turn, but that's not all. So this is a 0-cost go again action, and what it says is that the next time a Rune Blade attack action card you control hits a hero this turn, look at their hand, choose a card, they have to discard it. That's not next attack. That's not attacks in the chain. That is all attacks for the turn. The next one to hit, you get that effect. And the fact that there's going to be like 3 of these in a Runeblade deck, I will be clutching my items a little closer to my chest tonight. So we're going to set that aside next to Splatter Skull here. Keep those cards separate. And just want to glance at this one too, Arcane Scene's Life. Great card, but also even more beautiful foiling. These meld cards are really interesting. The ability to play both sides or one side of the card as needed is really versatile, can make for some amazing effects. In this case, putting out Rune Chance and gaining life at the same time. And I believe this is a 0-cost card. So really, when I say value, that's value. But just stunning, stunning art, and the foiling just makes it pop even more. Like I said, if I could get foil posters of this stuff to put on my wall, I 100% would do so. So LSS, if any of you are listening, foil posters next, please, because I need some of this gorgeous key art to start decorating the back walls of this room here. So far, we're at 1 expansion card, 1 majestic from the set. Let's see what else we can get here. I'm feeling like this box is going to get spicier with time. Like I said, I told you guys that my luck tends to be that everything cool is on the bottom. And this is starting to feel like that's going to follow that pattern. So let's keep going here. Going through, I'm seeing some staple earth cards up front. Autumn's Touch, even in blue. Very good for your deck. More Flittering Charges. Now, Brush Off is not my fave. It's really conditional, but let's talk about Open the Floodgates. So another Surge card, drawing 2 cards, but it is a little more expensive to play. I could see this maybe being used more in a CC deck. You could use it in limited, but trying to pay for that amount, I believe it's 2, is going to be a little pricier when you've got that lower card economy that you're trying to work through with your 30-card deck here, depending on how many blues you have, but still a very cool effect, could really pair with Acilia well. Deadwood Dirge, creating 3 rune chant tokens off of another aura you control. I use this a lot for some really explosive Florian turns, hitting off another rune chant once he's online and you're creating and replacing it plus the additional rune chants really puts pressure on your opponent. Inkline Cloak, just pulling this out as another cosplay possibility. I saw people talking about this. I really want to see somebody make it. Such cool art, so pretty. Oh, hey, here we go. Again, Rune Blades are going to be really happy with this set. So Machinations of Dominion, hopefully I got that name right there, is a 0-cost blue action card. And what it says is that the next Rune Blade attack action card that you play this turn gets overpower. And if you've played or created an aura this turn, like a rune chant, it's going to get go again. Really fantastic value card. One of those that I think is going to end up in a lot of decks. I mean, just 0-cost, blue, 3-block. We love those. Going to be a great card. Set that down there. Now we're up to 2 majestics in the set and more of those beautiful, beautiful lightning foils. I'm liking this box. I'm feeling good about it. I think we've got more coming in this. I feel it. I think we're getting down to about the halfway point. Set those aside. tokens, but and another Findle's Fighting Spirit. So again, what I'm wearing right now, love this art, love this card, but it's just a great great card for playing as well. So 3 for 7, but you're gaining life if you're less health than your opponent. So you can have a lot of fun really managing these in your decks. I like to put the whole rainbow in limited because I find value in each and every one of them. Now it only blocks for 2, but essentially if you are lower life, it's almost like a block 3 if there's no effect on the back end of letting something hit. It also works when you block with it as well. It works when you attack with it. So if you're Verdance, you could be hitting them with an Arcane off of that 1 life gain if you are at lower health, which as Verdance, you're probably not usually at that lower health, but you never know. There's always the mirror, right? Lightning Surge, another reprint card. It's a 0 for 4 go again if it's played out of the arsenal. So great to tuck in there and go on those go wide turns, whether you're Aurora, whether you're Acilio. Another Etchings of Arcana. Another Inkline Cloak. Been seeing a lot of duplicates there. And back to these meld cards again. We saw this one before in foil. Foil's much prettier, but still very great card to be playing in your limited or even your CC deck. Get into this pack here. Let's see. Is it going to have something? Nothing in the back slots this time. But we do love seeing a red Cadaverous Tilling. 3 for 8. I mean, you do not want to be sitting on the other side of this when somebody decomposes. I mean, you're saying it, you think to yourself, hey, it's vanilla damage. But at the end of the day, when you're sitting at 20 health or even less if you're Acilio, 8 damage is a lot to contend with. Same thing, Autumn's Touch here, a 3 for 7. 1 less damage, but still probably not much less intimidating coming across the table. Now, Arcane Twinning in and of itself is just like another zap, but what's important to look at here are these instant amp effects. So some of these wizard cards, you can discard them to amp something, which in a key moment or to close out a game can be quite valuable to have in your deck. Photon Splicing, I like this one for arcane damage. It also doubles as an amp, but I'd probably be using it for the arcane damage. And again, another one of these conditional cards where you have to take damage to be able to activate your equipment. So important to remember that you might want to block early when you're playing something like Limited, and you have to be able to turn on this equipment to use it. So you have to take that damage. There have been times where I've almost died at the end of a game because I couldn't use my equipment. I saved it far too long. I want to talk about this meld card, but I think we have something spicier to talk about here. Germinate, one of the, I think, best like Majestics in this box. This is the Florian spec. And so I've been using this in sealed pulls, and I gotta say, in limited, like, this card is insane. It's gonna be great in CC decks as well for Florian. It's gonna be a staple card, but what Germinate does is it is a double X cost card, which is interesting. So it doesn't have a fixed cost. What that means is that you're paying double for whatever you wanna do, essentially. So in this case, what the card does is it says create a rune chant or an embodiment of Earth token. Repeat this process X more times. X being basically double X is what you're going to pay. And then once you do that, you gain X plus 1 in life. So for example, let's say you want to create 3 rune chants with this. You're going to pay 6 resources to do that. So you're going to pitch for 6. You're going to create those. Now, if you have Florian's ability turned on, what makes this really cool is that it's instances of X. So you're going to be creating like X plus 1. The other day, I think I did 10 rune chants with this and then gained 5 life off the back of that. It's just one of the most fun things you could do and very versatile because you can use it for embodiments. I'm a more aggro player, so I'd probably be using it for rune chants to swing with, but you do you. So we'll set that down here. Gorgeous foiling. It's going right next to my EA that I picked up at the event this past weekend. You know, I think whether you're in the EA or you're in the regular foils, it's just a beautiful card to rainbow out your deck, especially your Florian deck. Make it pop. All right, let's see what we got. Still more tokens in the back. Not a lot of expansion slots in this one, so we'll see. Usually I get a lot. Maybe I'm just luckier in that case. Fry, great card if it's in red, giving yourself go again there. Another, again, wizard card that I love playing with that Trailblazing Aether go again. I really like going again. Now, Exploding Aether can make some really explosive turns, pun intended, but it costs 2. So I don't find myself going as tall in my Acilio build personally, but I have had them used very effectively against me as Verdance. And again, another one of those conditional equipments there. Chorus of Amphitheater, Splintering Deadwood, and a Cadaverous Tilling Rainbow Foil. Pretty pretty. So I think we're about halfway down this box now. We haven't seen a cold foil. We haven't seen a legendary. Haven't seen the Fabled. And I don't have the best pack opening luck for Fableds, but anything would make me happy. And we have a potential teaser here, so we'll see what that is last. It looks like it's an actual card. I think it's a hero, so we'll see. Going through a Heaven's Claws, just good basic lightning card. Electrostatic Discharge, Strong Yield. Arcane Cussing. I want to call that the swear jar so bad, you guys. I really don't like the title of that card. I hate the word cussing. I think Ethan and I have bonded over this to call it the swear jar from now on. Earth Form. Blast. I love that art. And a foiled Deadwood. And we have a Dealt hero here with Verdance as the Majestic. So we'll set that aside so it's separate from all the other Majestics and the expansion slots. It kind of counts more as a token here. But hey, if you want to play a Dealt, you're going to need it, or at least need one of those beautiful marvels. Maybe I can get one of those? Anyone know where I can pick one up? I haven't pulled one yet. Let's see what we got. Another backwards card. We'll see what it is. I'm feeling lucky. Electrostatic. This one's pretty good. +3 on that damage. Sigil of Earth. More sigils. Important if you need to do something with the name Sigil in it, so don't just discount those as blues. Another Trailblazing, hit the high notes. Oh, guys, I just want to see what's in the back here. I want to just rush through this. I shouldn't. We've got another meld card there. In this case, a Pulsing Aether and Life for Verdance here, delivering that arcane damage and gaining life, and hopefully delivering it. Oh, man. You guys. Gorgeous. I've been wanting one of these. So excited for this. Staff of Verdant Shoots cold foil. As far as cold foils go in the box, one of the best that you could pull. Really excited for this. We picked up a Starfall during our sealed packs this weekend. So this is our second cold foil weapon. And of course, I want all of them in the set. I am a cold foil fiend. One of my mottos is diamonds aren't a girl's best friend, cold foils are. And so up next, hopefully, Volzar. I really want to build a Cilio, but I'm also really excited for this too. I mean, the camera can't do it justice. It's just absolutely gorgeous. All right, we've sleeved it up and we've set it to the side. Have to protect it. Those cold foil weapons, I just want every single one of them. I know I'm being greedy, but I have to have it. That and the Marvel Heroes, every single one in my collection, I have to be iced out. All right, we getting lucky again? No, but I won't be greedy. That's okay. That's okay. Let's see what we got here. So Yum Yum, Fruits card, and Fry, go again. 0 for 3 red. Love this card. Just pack those into your deck if you're playing a Lightning Hero because they are amazing. Going through more sigils. Sigil of Go again, I'm just going to call it that. Overflow the Aetherwell, another Surge card. If you deal more than the listed damage, you're going to get 2 resource. A little harder to use, but you can use it interestingly as a mechanic with Verdance, where you use that to push into one of those life gain cards that cost you. And Bloodtorn Bodice here, just a pretty art. I really like that one. One of my favorites of the set. Go through Lightning Form and another Fry. These piles are starting to get tall, you guys. Hopefully I don't knock it over with my arm as I'm going through, because right now I'm just showering this entire table with glitter. The camera's not picking it up, but it's looking like some complete night at the club here on my mat. More tokens. Brush Off. So Brush Off is interesting because you have to have less than 3 damage in this case because it's a red to be able to prevent it. I find it a little too conditional for my taste when I'm playing. The amount of times I've had that in my deck and couldn't use it for some reason, and it really got stuck in my hand. I could see it being used in other formats, but in Limited, I kind of pushed that one to the side. Consuming Volition. I like this one in red. Being able to make them discard a card on hit is a great conditional effect. Another Flash of Brilliance. Sigil Sanctuary is such a pretty sigil. Again, just being able to use those sigils to get other things turned on that require sigils. Like there's, I believe, a chess piece that requires that you have like auras out or different things. There's different things that have to have sigil in the name, like Glyph. And so it's important to include some of those in your deck if you're going to be playing things like the Glyph card, which is another gorgeous art there. All right, what are we looking at? More tokens. Okay. Sure, there could still be staple cards in here. So Strength of the 4 Seasons, +4 if you have 4 Earth cards in your Banish Zone. So that's coming in for an 8 attack there if you can get that off of the Banish Zone. So another great heavy hitting attack. Keep your opponent on the back foot as you're doing your thing. Another Arcane Cussing Swear Jar. Electromagnetic Somersault, great card. And Runebound Carapace, or Rootbound Carapace, another great decompose card. Not only are you defending, but you're starting to feed that banish pile that you need. See. Oh, and here's that little title card here, that art card. So these actually come in cold foil. I really, really want one. I know it's silly, but I want to be able to put it on my wall. I have like a kind of an art collection on my wall of cards, so I want to be able to put it in that frame. We'll see if I find one. Another Yum Yum card, Fruits of the Forest. Pretty versatile. You can discard this to gain 2 life, or you could just come in for a simple 7 damage, right? Just 7. No big deal. Going through, let's see, Deadwood, Trailblazing, Blood to another Bloodtorn. Vantage, and Trip the Light. I love the names of these cards. Honestly, they're so like, some of them are cheesy, but in the best way. You guys have to understand that I am a huge dad joke / pun person, so I'm always loving the card titles and all the puns that are in these cards. LSS knows what they're doing when they make these titles, so I love it. So another of those strengths, great card. I would definitely pack one, probably pick one that if it's in red. Electrostatic, Meet and Greet, Photon, love that card too, as I mentioned. Again, just great, 1 for 4. Arcane, Hold Focus, great wizard card, can help close out a game, amping 1. Summer's Fall, Pop the Bubble, and Malefic Incantation. I keep mispronouncing that one. I keep wanting to say like Maleficent Incantation, and I know it's not that. So hopefully I don't screw up at any point during this. With that, even though I just admitted that I do all the time at the table. And I'm sure that won't stop anytime soon. Okay, no expansion here. See what we got. Arcane Polarity, love it in red. Again, great card, gain life. If you've had arcane damage dealt to you, you're going to gain more life, which is pretty easy to get done here. There's a lot of arcane damage flying with not a lot of prevention for it, so Rune Hold Release, you can make a rune chant off that. This can be great for when you need to trigger something with a rune chant or have something to aim at for an aura. And we have Current Funnel here, which is one of the Majestics for lightning, enabling kind of a lower, wider turn with Go Again. And a beautiful foil, Photon Splicing. All that pretty wizard foil. Wizard players out there, I really want to see some fully foiled out decks. Whether I'm playing them or you're playing them, I want to see some shinies, okay? So get on this stat. These are gorgeous. More tokens. Set those aside. Brush off. Flash. So another one of these, again, lightning enabling Go Again cards here. Just one thing to note too with lightning cards is they usually only block for 2. So there's just something to be cognizant of. You're a little bit of a glass cannon there. Your blocking is going to be a bit lower if you're running a lot of lightning cards in your pool. But at the same time, you need those lightning cards for a lot of abilities. Things like Oscillio and turning on that staff, you need to play lightning for that amp. Another Malefic Incantation and a Majestic. It's a generic, so Cut Through the Facade is a 3 for 7 card, and I've been saying it, 3 for 7. Love this in limited, but also obviously great in CC as well. But what this does is when you play this, it can't be defended by auras. So I guess when you think about like good anti Prism or Enigma tech, and when it hits a hero, you may destroy an aura they control. So watch out there, illusionist buds. This one's coming for you. Set that down for the count in the Majestic pile. Set aside this really pretty Strength of 4 Seasons. And toss these rares over here and move on to the next pack. All right, sun's getting real low here on this box, and I don't think that we've seen a legendary yet, so I'm hoping there might still be one hiding in here, even a fabled. I'll try not to get too greedy with my hopes this time because I have never actually cracked a fable before. Sigil of Deadwood, not only do I love that art, but it's just a great card in Florian. Good powerhouse aura. Hood of Second Thoughts just cracks me up. This is so funny, and I know somebody's working on a cosplay for it or a mini cosplay, and I can't wait to see it because of that expression, and the person that's doing it will do it justice. Another of these meld cards, and one of my favorites for Oscillio, Comet Storm and Shock, sending in a high amount of arcane damage between those two, especially if you can amp it with Oscillio, and a tease here with the Cracked Bauble. Thanks a lot, Sam. Appreciate it. Just kidding, bud. Classic art there. And a troll really being in the token spot with that backer being the regular card. So it always cracks me up because I think it's done on purpose, and I love some good trolling, so it's all right. Set those cards aside. All right, another Fry, great card. Second Strike. Blue Findles, again, still a great value card. Overflow, sigils, swear jar. Four finger gloves, another one of these conditional equipments here, needing to be able to turn them on by doing something. And then more of these. We've actually gotten quite a few of these arcane seeds here within this box. And it's funny because I never get them at the table when I actually want them in my pack so I can play with them for flooring because they're such a great card. But we're getting a lot here, which is fine. I need a play set of just about everything because, like I said, I think I'm going to build most of these heroes. A flash, sigil, Deadwood, yeah, Photon. Blue Oath, okay. More Twinkle Toes, getting a lot of Twinkle Toes. And Sigil Cycles, I'm just calling this the Crop Circle card. I love it. I love the art on that. I actually want to find one of the Marvels. I don't know that I'll actually, will I include in the deck? I don't know, but I want all of the Marvels. I like to put a lot of my cards in like these floating frames. I'm decorating my walls with them. And, even if it's not something I'm going to use, I almost want like a full set. Because if I can't get a full sheet off the prize wall because I don't have enough tickets and I'm not good enough, then I'm going to make my own. Okay, maybe there's something here. Last 2 packs. Are we going to hit it? Let's see. The pressure's on. 2 packs left. Are we going to pull it? Ether Quickening, another great card. That Surge, potential go again, 1 for 4. Rune Rager, Exploding Aether, come on, get to the back. Another Sigil, Temporal Manipulation. Rootbound Carapace. Okay. What's here? Oh, yes! And of course I drop it. So pretty. So Barkskin of the Millennium Tree, super awesome pull. I don't always get to pull legendaries. I don't have like the magic pack ripping fingers that my friends seem to have, but really excited for this one because I do plan to put together an Earth hero with this set. And so what this does is when it defends, if you have 4 more Earth cards within your banish zone, create an embodiment of Earth token, which if you're Verdance or you're Florian, that is like your number one thing you're trying to do super fast is get those banish cards in there, get your hero power turned on. So great card. It also has temper, so you kind of got to watch out with that. It's not battle worn. It's not going to stick around forever. So what temper is essentially is when your combat chain closes, if it defended, you put a -1 counter on it. This starts with 2 as the block value on it. So after 2 uses, it could potentially be destroyed if you have no way to prevent that. And so just realizing kind of how you have to block with this to keep this power going if that's something that you want to keep using throughout the game. Wow, just set that aside here, all sleeved up and ready to go. 1 pack left. I'd like to think that there's still the chance to hit something big again in here, but that would be extremely greedy, you guys. Let's see what we finish out. Will we finish out strong? Nothing in the token slot, but that's all right because we just got 2 amazing things in the token slots. A lot of blues in this pack. Okay, good harvest season. Good card in a limited pool. Open the floodgates. Sigil, again, that cool art. Like, I love it. I love the foiling in that one too. It really pops with the dark background on it. Electromagnetic Somersault, great card. Glyph, Red Arcane foil, and that's that, folks. So that is the box right here. Let's see what we got in total. Let's count them up. So we have our beautiful cold foil Staff of Verdant Shoots. So cool. Excited to add that to the collection, as well as our rainbow Barkskin of the Millennium Tree. Again, awesome because we're building these out in the house. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 Majestics here. One of them is a token. Thanks for hanging around for this box break, sponsored by TCGplayer.com. Hopefully we see you guys back here as I start to get into my build for Osaka, and I'll start dropping hints along the way as to what that cosplay might be. Until then, stay boosted.